I don't know how to read the faces. Let's hear you. Craig.
We've reached an agreement, Chair. We've juggled our program. The 25th of June.
25 June. 25 June it is then. Thank you very much to both of you. You are both excused. General, you are directed to be in attendance at 9:30 on Friday, 5 June 2026. Thank you very much, General.
Thank you, Commissioner.
Thank you.
Thank you, Chair.
You are excused, Ms. Talk, and
Thank you, Chair.
Thank you.
Suspended Hawks KwaZulu-Natal head Major General Lesitja Senona is expected to appear before the Madlang Commission of Inquiry on Friday after being granted additional time to prepare his witness statement. Senona was originally scheduled to testify on Monday but requested a postponement to finalize his submission. Commission Chairperson Justice Mboiseni Madlanga subsequently ordered that his written statement be filed by midnight on Tuesday. The senior police officer is now expected to give oral evidence when proceedings resume at 9:30 on Friday, June 5. His testimony is anticipated to be closely watched, given his alleged connection to one of the most controversial drug theft cases involving the Directorate for Priority Crime Investigation, DPCI, commonly known as the Hawks. At the center of the matter is the disappearance of 541 kilograms of the cocaine, valued at approximately 200 million rand, from a Hawks storage facility in Potchefstroom, KwaZulu-Natal in 2021. The Commission has already had explosive testimony suggesting that serious irregularities surrounded the handling, movement, and storage of the seized drug long before they vanished. Earlier this month, DPCI Major General Hendrik Flyn told the Commission that Senona should have undergone a polygraph test because of his involvement in the matter. Flyn rejected suggestions that Senona was merely a distant supervisor, testifying that he played a direct role in key decisions surrounding the movement and safeguarding of the cocaine. According to Flyn, Senona personally visited the Potchefstroom office and took possession of keys linked to the storage facility. The Commission heard that the cocaine initially seized at a Durban depot was booked into SAPS exhibit register at Isipingo Police Station on June 22, 2021. However, it was booked out on the very same day by Warrant Officer Mpangasi. Flyn testified that acting on instructions from Brigadier Campbell Musa, who had consulted Senona, the drugs were subsequently transported to the DPCI offices in Potchefstroom. He described the chain of custody as severely compromised, citing irregular entries in the SAP 13 register, missing documentation, and conflicting records concerning who received the exhibits. In one instance, evidence was recorded as having been delivered to Potchefstroom Police Station without any clear indication of who accepted it. Another officer signed the receipt but failed to provide a name or parcel number, raising further concerns about accountability. Flyn also revealed that a register entry indicating the cocaine had been sent for forensic analysis was false. According to his testimony, the drugs were never submitted for testing at the time. The senior investigator told the Commission that the sequence of events appeared to have been carefully orchestrated, describing the procedural failures as seemingly by design. He further criticized the handling of the original crime scene, noting that officials failed to involve the local Criminal Record Center, LCRC, while crucial evidence management protocols were ignored. According to Flyn, the cocaine shipment originated from the port of Santos in Brazil and should have been properly photographed, sealed and packaged before being transported. Instead, the drugs were moved in a manner that left them vulnerable and undermined the integrity of the evidence chain. He also questioned how such a large quantity of cocaine could have been received at the Potchefstroom DPCI office without a corresponding receipt document, despite witness statements confirming that the delivery took place. The Commission has also heard that evidence from Deputy National Commissioner for Policing, Lieutenant General Tepelo Mosekiti, who disclosed that 7 break-ins had occurred at the same DPCI facility before the November 2021 burglary, during which the cocaine disappeared. Flynn testified that the drugs were stolen sometime between November 6 and 8, 2021, after intruders used a grinder to cut through the facility's strong room. At the time of theft, the building's alarm system was reportedly malfunctioning, while no armed response service was available because a security contract had lapsed in March 2020. Although Flynn acknowledged that inadequate security contributed to the theft, he argued that proper safeguards and oversight could have prevented the breach, and said you need additional layers of security measures to make it difficult or impossible to breach the premises. The inquiry resumed public hearings on Monday following a 2-week recess, during which commissioners prepared their second interim report. President Cyril Ramaphosa received the Commission's latest interim report on May 29 and is currently studying its findings as the inquiry continues to probe allegations of misconduct, criminality, and institutional failures within South Africa's law enforcement structures. Meanwhile, the Northwest businessman Solomon Karim's testimony at the Madlang Commission has been shifted to 25 June because he is still recovering after allegedly suffering a heart attack at the gym and being rushed to the hospital for treatment. This was made known during the Commission's proceedings on Monday, where Karim was represented by his lawyer Kamal Premheed. The postponement was confirmed on Monday after Chief Evidence Leader Advocate Matthew Chaskalson, SC, and Karim's lawyer Kamal Premheed reached an agreement, which the Commission made an order of the court. Chaskalson said Karim was subpoenaed for Monday but submitted a medical report on Friday showing he was unfit to appear. He said there has been a fairly lengthy to-ing and fro-ing in correspondence, the upshot of which was that on Friday a detailed current medical report was furnished indicating that Mr. Karim is not fit to appear today. He added that the Commission undertook to Karim's lawyers that it will not disclose the details of the medical report. Chaskalson said although Karim was subpoenaed to appear before the Commission, in light of the medical report, it was not necessary for him to appear in person on Monday. He explained that the Commission faces a challenging situation with only 2 months of hearings remaining before the submission of its final report on August 31, 2026. He initially suggested that Karim's testimony be scheduled between 29 and 1 July. However, following engagement with Karim's legal team, they reached an agreement for his testimony to be heard on 25 June. Karim's scheduled testimony will be heard following a failed bid by Northwest businessman and alleged political fixer Bron Mokhotsi to have Chaskalson recuse himself. Mokhotsi claimed that Chaskalson tried to coerce him into implicating Karim. Karim testified in March on allegations that he used ANC connections to help alleged crime boss Vusimuzi Madlala to secure an irregular tender through his company Medicare 24 Tshwane District. He denied influencing suspended police minister Senzo Mchunu, saying he has no connection to him. Karim told the Commission he advanced Madlala 10 million rand after Madlala said he'd secured SAPS medical services tender but was short on cash. Madlala allegedly agreed to repay double that amount over 3 years. Karim said he asked Mokhotsi to check if the tender was legitimate, and Mokhotsi confirmed it was. The Commission also had allegations of money laundering involving Karim, Madlala, and tender tycoon Hangwani Maumela, and scrutinized the flow of funds between them. What's your take on this one, people? Thanks for watching. Please subscribe for more news.